Alright, yo, we are on the last act. I guess there's no scenes, it's just acts. Because it says Act 3. Let me go over here and check it out. Scene 2. And that's Act 2, Scene 1. So this is Act 3. Act 3 is only of one scene, so it's pretty much the end of the book. We're gonna see what ends up happening, you know? They pretty much lost the money and they gotta see what's going on. So here's the opening. Is it considered epilogue? Monologue? Anyway, Act 3. An hour later at Curtain, there was a sullen light of gloom in the living room. Gray light, not unlike that which began the first scene of Act 1. At left, we can see Walter within his room, alone with himself. He is stretched out on the bed, his shirt out and open, his arms under his head. He does not smoke, he does not cry out, he merely lies there, looking up at the ceiling, much as if he were alone in the world. And that kind of sucks because, like, moments before his friend came and gave him the bad news, that chairman on the committee of that new neighborhood, Clybourne Park, where the mother of this family invested the money, put a down payment for a new home. But it's in a town with a lot of white people, and this time, you know, it's mostly white and black. You know, it's like, I mean, slavery's been over. It's like the civil rights times, or maybe even earlier. But so it's just been unfortunate, pretty much. And in the living room, beneath us sits at the table, still surrounded by the now almost ominous packing crates. She sits looking off. We feel that this is a mood struck her perhaps an hour before. We feel that this is a mood struck perhaps an hour before, and it lingers now, full of the empty sound of profound disappointment. We see on a line from her brother's bedroom the sameness of their attitudes. Presently the bell rings and Benita rises without ambition or interest in answering. It is Asagai, smiling broadly, striding into the room with energy and happy expectation and conversation. So I think the other guy she first went out on a date with, I think he was like a wealthy guy. Because in the beginning of this book, they talk about dating a wealthy guy. I think Asagai is the African American, the man from Africa. I think he might be from Africa, like with the accent and stuff. Or maybe he's just appreciative of the African culture. Because Asagai is the one that bought Benita that African woman like dress, you know, that traditional dress they wear. So starting with Asagai came over. And he says this, Asagai. I came over, I had some free time. I thought I might help with the packing. I like the look of packing crates, a household in preparation for a journey. It depresses some people, but for me, it is another feeling, something full of the flow of life. Do you understand? Movement, progress, it makes me think of Africa. Benita, Africa. Asagai, what kind of a mood is this? Have I told you how deeply you move me? Benita, he gave away the money, Asagai. Asagai, who gave away the money? Who gave away what money? Benita, the insurance money, my brother gave it away. Asagai, gave it away. Benita, he made an investment with a man even Travis wouldn't have trusted with his most worn out marbles. The little boy, her nephew. Asagai, and it's gone? Benita, gone. Asagai, I'm very sorry. And you, now? Benita, me, I'm nothing. Me, when I was very small, we used to take our sleds out in the wintertime. And the only hills we had were the ice-covered stone steps of some houses down the street. And we used to fill them in with snow and make them smooth and slide down them all day. And it was very dangerous, you know, far too steep. And sure enough, one day a kid named Rufus came down too fast and hit the sidewalk, and we saw his face just split open right there in front of us. And I remember standing there looking at his bloody face, thinking that was the end of Rufus. But the ambulance came and they took him to the hospital and they fixed the broken bones and then sewed it all up. And the next time I saw Rufus, he just had a little line down the middle of his face. I never got over that. Asagai, what? Benita, that was the one, Okay, Benita, that was what one person could do for another. Fix them up. Sew up the problem. Make them all right again. That was the most marvelous thing in the world. I wanted to do that. I always thought it was the one concrete thing in the world that a human being could do. Fix up the sick, and make them whole again. This was truly being God. Asagai, you wanted to be God? Benita, no, I wanted to cure. I wanted to cure, like cure people. It used to be so important to me. I wanted to cure. It used to matter. I used to care. I mean about people and how their bodies hurt. Asagai, and you've stopped caring? Benita, yes, I think so. Asagai, why? Benita, bitterly, because it doesn't seem deep enough, close enough to what ails mankind. It was a child's way of seeing things, or an idealist's. Asagai, children see things very well sometimes, and idealists even better. I don't know if I agree. Benita, I know that's what you think, because you are still where I left off. You, with all your talk and dreams about Africa, you still think you can patch up the world, cure the great sore of colonialism, loftily mocking it with the penicillin of independence. Asagai, yes. Benita, independence, and then what? What about all the crooks and thieves and just plain idiots who will come into power and steal and plunder the same as before? Only now they will be black and do it in the name of the new independence. What about them? Damn, this is a crazy book, man. Shout out this author, Lorraine Hansbury. She's saying something. Asagai, that will be the problem for another time. First, we must get there. He's talking about the present, not the future. Benita, and where does it end? Asagai, end? Who even spoke of an end? To life? To living? Benita, an end to misery, stupidity. Don't you see there isn't any real progress, Asagai? There's only one large circle that we march in, around and around, each of us with our own little pictures in front of us, our own little mirage that we think is the future. Asagai, that is the mistake. Benita, what? Asagai, what you just said about the circle, it isn't a circle. It's simply a long line, as in geometry. You know, one that reaches into infinity. And because we cannot see the end, we also cannot see how it changes. And it is very odd, but those who see the changes, who dream, who will not give up, are called idealists. And those who only see the circle, we call them the realists. Benita, Asagai, while I was sleeping in that bed in there, people went out and took the future right out of my hands. And nobody asked me, nobody consulted me, they just went out and changed my life. Asagai, was it your money? Benita, what? Asagai, was it your money he gave away? Benita, it belonged to all of us. Asagai, but did you earn it? Would you have had it? Would you have had it at all if your father had not died? Benita, no. Asagai, then isn't there something wrong in the house, in a world where all dreams, good or bad, must depend on the death of a man? I never thought to see you like this, Alejo. Your brother made a mistake and you are grateful to him so that now you can't give up the alien human race on account of it? So, I'm not sure if so it says, your brother made a mistake and you are grateful to him so that now you can give up the alien human race on account of it. You talk about what good is struggle, what good is anything, where are we all going and why are we all, you talk about what good is struggle, what good is anything, where are we all going and why are we bothering? So he's saying, like, he's just repeating what he feels that she's saying. Benita, and you cannot answer it? Asagai, shouting over her, I live the answer. Pause. In my village at home, it is the exceptional man who can even read a newspaper, or whoever sees a book at all. I will go home and much of what I will have to say will seem strange to the people of my village. But I will teach and work and things will happen, slowly and swiftly. At times it will seem that nothing changes at all. And then again, the sudden dramatic events which make history leap into the future. And then quiet again, retrogression even, guns, murder, revolution. I even will have moments when I wonder if the quiet was not better than all that death and hatred, but I will look about my village at the illiteracy and disease and ignorance. And I will not wonder long. And perhaps I will be a great man. I mean, perhaps I will hold on to the substance of truth and find my way always with the right course, and perhaps for it I will be butchered in my bed some night by the servants of empire. Beneath the martyr, I guess she likes He's speaking with passion, Sheikh. So then Asagai, he smiles. Or perhaps I shall live to be a very old man, respected and esteemed in my new nation. Perhaps I shall hold office, and this is what I'm trying to tell you, Aleo. Perhaps the things I believe now for my country will be wrong and outmoded, and I will not understand and do terrible things to have things my way, or merely to keep my power. Don't you see that there will be young men and women, not British soldiers then, but my own black countrymen, and step out of the shadows some evening and slip my then useless throat? Don't you see they have always been there, that they always will be, and that such a thing as my own death will be in advance? They who might kill me even actually replenish all that I was. They who might kill me even actually replenish all that I was. He's saying maybe my power will go into them, just like Paul. You know, the Christians that Paul killed, nobody knows about them, but who knows if they're not in heaven? Who knows if their power was left and their spirit was not left behind? Those are the true Christians, the ones that were never mentioned in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Paul used to kill them. Paul was Saul, and God came to him, and now he became Paul. And look at, that's exactly what happened to Paul. They who might kill me even. These are like the words of the people that Paul was killing. They who might kill me even actually replenish all that I was. Beneath the, this is like he's having a conversation with his future wife. Oh, Asagai, I know all that. Asagai, good. Then stop moaning and groaning and tell me what you plan to do. Beneath the do, Asagai, I have a bit of a suggestion. Beneath the what, Asagai, rather quietly for him. That when it is all over, that you come home with me. Beneath us, staring at him and crossing away with exasperation. Oh, Asagai, at this moment you decide to be romantic. Asagai, quickly understanding the misunderstanding. She responded to him like she was his wife already. My dear young creature of the new world, I do not mean across the city, I mean across the ocean. Home to Africa. Oh, okay. Oh, he even tricked me a little bit. Beneath us, slowly understanding and turning to him with murmured amazement. To Africa? Asagai, yes, smiling and lifting his arms playfully. 300 years later, the African prince rose up out of the seas and swept the maiden back across the middle passage, over which her ancestors had come. Benita, unable to play. To Nigeria? Asagai, Nigeria, home. Coming to her with genuine romantic flippancy. I will show you our mountains and our stars and give you cool drinks from gourds and teach you the old songs and the ways of our people. And in time, we will pretend that, very softly, you have only been away for a day. Say that you'll come. He swings her arm and takes her full in his arms in a kiss which proceeds to passion. Beneatha, pulling away suddenly. You're getting me all mixed up. Asagai, why? Beneatha, too many things have happened today. I must sit down and think. I don't know what I feel about anything right this minute. She promptly sits down and props her chin on her fist. Asagai, charmed. All right, I shall leave you. No, don't get up, touching her gently, sweetly. Just sit a while and think. Never be afraid to sit a while and think. He goes to the door and looks at her. How often I have looked at you and said, ah, so this is what the new world hath finally wrought. Like, he exits. Benita sits on alone. Presently, Walter enters from his room and starts to rummage through things, feverishly looking for something. She looks up and turns in her seat. You don't think her brother heard that little conversation? That's probably why he came in. Benita, hissingly. Yes, just look at what the new world hath wrought. Just look. She gestures with bitter disgust. Oh, why you gotta be mean to him? That's so unattractive. There he is, Monsieur le Petit Bourgeois Noir himself. There he is, symbol of a rising class, entrepreneur, titan of the system. Walter ignores her completely and continues frantically and destructively looking for something, and hurling things to the floor and tearing things out of their place in his search. Benita ignores the eccentricity of his actions and goes on with a monologue of insult. Did you dream of yachts on Lake Michigan, brother? Did you see yourself on that great day sitting at the conference table surrounded by all the mighty bald-headed men in America, all halted, waiting, breathless, waiting for your pronouncements on industry, waiting for you, chairman of the board? Walter finds what he is looking for, a small piece of white paper, and pushes it in his pocket and puts on his coat and rushes out without ever having looked at her. She shouts after him, I look at you and I see the final triumph of the stupidity in the world. I look at you and I see the final triumph of stupidity in the world. So she's saying, like, you were so good at being so stupid, pretty much. Not that I agree with how she's attacking him, especially since he has a piece of paper. It sounds like he might be leaving a note behind. The door slams and she returns to sitting down again. Ruth comes quickly out of Mama's room. Ruth, who was that? Benita, your husband. Ruth, where did he go? Benita, who knows? Maybe he has an appointment at U.S. Steel. Ruth, anxiously with frightened eyes. You didn't say nothing bad to him, did you? Benita, bad? Say anything bad to him? No, I told him he was a sweet boy and full of dreams and everything is strictly peachy keen. As the old fake kids say. Mama enters from her bedroom. She is lost, vague, trying to catch hold to make some sense of her former command of the world. But it still eludes her. A sense of waste overwhelms her gait. A measure of apology rides on her shoulders. She goes to her plant, which has remained on the table, looks at it, picks it up, and takes it to the windowsill and sits it outside. And she stands and looks at it a long time. Then she closes the window, straightens her body with effort, and turns around to her children. Mama, well, ain't it a mess in here, though? It false cheerfulness, the beginning of something. I guess we all better stop moping around and get some work done, all this unpacking and everything we got to do. Ruth raises her head slowly in response to the sense of the line. And Benita, in similar manner, turns very slowly to look at her mother. One of y'all better call the moving people and tell them not to come. Ruth, tell them not to come. Mama, of course, baby, ain't no need in them coming all the way here and having to go back. They charge us for that too. She sits down, fingers to her brow, thinking, Lord, ever since I was a little girl, I always remembers people saying, Lena Eagleston, you aims too high all the time. You need to slow down and see life a little more like it is. Just slow down some. That's what they always used to say down home. Lord, that Lena Eggleston is a high-minded thing. She'll get her due one day. Ruth. No, Lena. Mama, me and Big Walter just didn't ever learn right. Ruth. Lena, no, we gotta go. Benny, tell her. She rises and crosses to Benita with her arms outstretched. Benita doesn't respond. Tell her we can still move. The notes ain't but $125 a month. We got 4 grown people in this house. We can work. Mama, to herself, just aim too high all the time. Ruth, turning and going to Mama fast, the words pouring out with urgency and desperation. Lena, I'll work 20 hours a day in all the kitchens in Chicago. I'll strap my baby on my back if I have to and scrub all the floors in America and wash all the sheets in America if I have to. But we got to move. We got to get out of here. Mama reaches out absently and pats Ruth's hand. Mama, no, I see things differently now. Been thinking about some of the things we could do to fix this place up some. I seen a secondhand bureau over on Maxwell Street just the other day that could fit right there. She points to where the new furniture might go. Ruth wanders away from her. We'll need some new handles on it and then a little varnish. And it looked like something brand new. And we can put up them new curtains in the kitchen while this place be looking fine. Cheer us all up so that we forget trouble ever come. To Ruth. And you can get some nice screens to put up in your room around the baby's bassinet. She looks at both of them pleadingly. Sometimes you just got to know when you got to give up on some things and hold on to what you got. Walter enters from outside looking spent and leaning against the door, his coat hanging from him. Mama, where you been, son? Walter, breathing hard, made a call. Mama, to who, son? Walter, to the man. He heads for his room. Mama, what man, baby? Walter stops in the door. The man, Mama. Don't you know who the man is? Ruth. Walter Lee. Walter, the man, like the guys in the street say, the man, Captain Boss, Mr. Charlie, old Captain, please, Mr. Boss Man. I guess he's being sarcastic. Benita suddenly, Lindner. Oh, Lindner's the white guy that came to see them. Walter, that's right. That's good. I told him to come right over. Benita, fiercely understanding. For what? What do you want to see him for? Oh, yeah, I mean, they could get money from him. Remember you offered them money not to go? Might as well. Walter, looking at his sister. We're going to do business with them. Mama, what are you talking about, son? Walter, talking about life, Mama. You're always telling me to see life like it is. Well, I laid in there on my back today and I figured it out. Life just like it is. Who gets and who don't get. He sits down with his coat on and laughs. I mean, you know it's all divided up. Life is, sure enough, between the takers and the tooken. He laughs. I figured it out finally. He looks around at them. Yeah, some of us always getting tooken. He laughs. People like Willie Harris, they don't ever get tooken. And you know why the rest of us do? Because we all mixed up bad. We get to look around for the right and the wrong, and we worry about it and cry about it and stay up nights trying to figure out about the wrong and the right of things all the time. And all the time, man, them takers is out there operating, just taking and taking. Willie Harris, shoot, Willie Harris don't even count. He don't even count in the big scheme of things. But I'll say one thing for old Willie Harris. He's taught me something. He's taught me to keep my eye on what counts in this world. He's taught me to keep my eye on what counts in this world. Yeah, shouting out a little. Thanks, Willie. Ruth, what did you call that man for, Walter Lee? Walter. Call him to tell him to come on over to the show. Gonna put on a show for the man, just what he wants to see. You see, Mama, the man came here today and told us that them people out there where you want us to move, well, they so upset they willing to pay us not to move. He laughs again. And oh, Mama, you would have been proud of the way me and Ruth and Benny acted. We told him to get out. Lord have mercy. We told the man to get out. Oh, we were some proud folks this afternoon. Yeah, he lights a cigarette. We were still full of that old time stuff. So he feels bitter. He's gonna. I guess they're really gonna act like kind of maybe like a really screwed up family, like the white people assume they are, and they act so bad, but they're gonna act like they want it. They're gonna make him probably like give him even more money. Ruth coming toward him slowly. You talking about taking that people's money to keep us from moving in that house? Walter, I ain't just talking about it, baby. I'm telling you that's what's going to happen. Benita, oh God, where is the bottom? Where is the real honest to God bottom so he can't go any further? Walter, see, that's the old stuff. You and that boy that was here today, y'all want everybody to carry a flag and a spear and sing some marching songs, huh? You want to spend your life looking into things and trying to find the right and the wrong part, huh? Yeah. You know what's going to happen to that boy someday? He'll find himself sitting in a dungeon locked in forever. And the takers will have the key. Forget it, baby. There ain't no causes. There ain't nothing but taking in this world. Like, there ain't no causes. Like, there ain't no fucking trying to make the world better. There ain't nothing but taking in this world. And he who takes most is smartest. And it don't make a damn bit of difference how. He'll find something sitting here. Dang, so he's talking about a saga. He's talking to his sister. He'll find himself sitting in a dungeon, locked in forever, and the takers will have the key. Forget it, baby. There ain't no causes. There ain't nothing but taking in this world. And he who takes most is smartest, and it don't make a damn bit of a difference how. Mama, you making something inside me cry, son. Some awful pain inside me. This is like about a family just having money trouble and how it corrupts you. Walter, don't cry, Mama. Understand. That white man is going to walk in that door able to write checks for money more than we ever had. It's important to him, and I'm going to help him. I'm going to put on the show, Mama. Mama, son, I come from 5 generations of people who were slaves and sharecroppers. But ain't nobody in my family never let nobody pay him no money. That was a way of telling us we wasn't fit to walk the earth. We ain't never been that poor, raising our eyes and looking at him. We ain't never been that, dead inside. Benita, well, we are dead now. All the talk about dreams and sunlight that goes on in this house, it's all dead now. His sister's kind of like down with him. Walter, what's the matter with you all? I didn't make this world. It was give to me this way. Hell, yes, I want me some yachts someday. Yes, I want to hang some real pearls around my wife's neck. Ain't she supposed to wear no pearls? Somebody tell me. Tell me who decides which woman is supposed to wear pearls in this world. I tell you, I am a man. I think my wife should wear some pearls in this world. This last line hangs a good while, and Walter begins to move about the room. The word man has penetrated his consciousness. He mumbles it to himself repeatedly between strange, agitated pauses as he moves about. Mama, baby, how you going to feel on the inside? Walter, fine, going to feel fine. A man. Mama, you won't have nothing left then, Walter. Walter, coming to her. I'm going to feel fine, Mama. I'm going to look that son of a bitch in the eyes and say, he falters, and say, all right, Mr. Linder. He falters even more. That's your neighborhood out there. You got the right to keep it like you want. You got the right to have it like you want. Just write the check and the house is yours. And I'm going to say, put the money in my hand and you won't have to live next to this bunch of stinking, he says the N-word, like, bunch of stinking ninjas. He's just mad. But he's not really, again, he might, I don't know if he really meant to say it to him, but he's really trying to show frustration to his family, you know? He straightens up and moves away from his mother, walking around the room. And maybe Maybe I'll just get down on my black knees. He does so. Ruth and Benny and Mama watch him in frozen horror. Captain, Mister, Boss Man, groveling and grinning and wringing his hands in profoundly anguished imitation of the slow-witted movie stereotype. He, oh, yes, sir, boss, yes, sir, great white. Voice breaking, he forces himself to go on. Father, just get us some the money, for God's sake, and we ain't gonna come out there and dirty up your white folks' neighborhood. He breaks down completely, and I'll feel fine. And I'll feel fine. And I'll feel fine. And he really gets mad. He says, I'll feel fine. 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 I don't really want to act it out. He gets up and goes into the bedroom. Benita, that is not a man. That is nothing but a toothless rat. How could she be so like that with her brother? Mama, yes, death done come in this here house. She is nodding, slowly, reflectively. I disagree. Done come walking in my house on the lips of my children. You was supposed to be my beginning again. You was supposed to be my harvest. To Benita, you mourning your brother. Benita, he's no brother of mine. Mama, what you say? Benita, I said that individual in that room is no brother of mine. Mama, that's what I thought you said. You feel like you're better than he is today. Benita does not answer. Yes? What you tell him a minute ago, that he wasn't a man? Yes. You give him up for me. You done wrote his epitaph too, like the rest of the world. Or who'll give you the privilege? Benita, be on my side for once. You saw what he just did, Mama. You saw him down on his knees. Wasn't it you who taught me to despise any man who would do that? Do what he's going to do? Mama, yes, I taught you that, me and your daddy, but I thought I taught you something else too. I thought I taught you to love him. Benita, love him? There's nothing left to love. A little dramatic. Mama, there's always something left to love, and if you ain't learned that, you ain't learned nothing. Look at her, or looking at her. Have you cried for that boy today? I don't mean for yourself and for the family because we lost the money. I mean for him, what he'd been through and what it's done to him. Child, when do you think is the time to love somebody the most? When they done good and made things easy for everybody? Well, then you ain't through learning, because that ain't the time at all. It's when he's at his lowest and can't believe in himself because the world done whipped him so. When he starts measuring somebody, measure him right, child, measure him right. Make sure you done taking into account what hills and valleys he come through before he got to whatever he is. Travis burst into the room at the end of the speech, leaving the door open. Travis, Grandmama, the movie men are downstairs. The truck just pulled up. Mama turning and looking at him. Are they, baby? They downstairs. She sighs and sits. Lindner appears in the doorway. He peers in and knocks lightly to gain attention. He comes in. All turn to look at him. Lindner, hat and briefcase in hand. Hello. Ruth crosses mechanically to the bedroom door and opens it and lets it swing open freely and slowly as the lights come up on Walter within. Still in his coat, sitting at the far corner of the room, he looks up and out through the room to Lindner. Ruth, he's here. A long minute passes and Walter slowly gets up. Lindner, coming to the table with efficiency, putting his briefcase on the table and starting to unfold papers and unscrew fountain pens. Well, I certainly was glad to hear from you people. Walter has begun the trek out of the room slowly and awkwardly, rather like a small boy, passing the back of his sleeve across his mouth from time to time. Life can really be so much simpler than people let it be most of the time. Well, with whom do I negotiate? You, Mrs. Younger, or your son here? Mama sits with her hands folded on her lap and her eyes closed as Walter advances. Travis goes closer to Lindner and looks at the papers curiously. Just some official papers, Sonny. Ruth. Travis, you go downstairs. Mama, opening her eyes and looking into Walter's. No. Travis, you stay right here and you make him understand what you're doing, Walter Lee. You teach him good like Willie Harris taught you. You show where our 5 generations done come to. Walter looks from her to the boy, who grins at him innocently. Go ahead, son. She folds her hands and closes her eyes. Go ahead. Oh my God. I feel like a little bit of Lorraine's emotions got in the way. I feel like Mama's reaction just a little too like, she would just, before he even walked in with him coming back, you know, from where he left when his sister was attacking him, when he called Lindner, he made a phone call to Lindner, she was already saying, oh, unpack the stuff. She told Benita, and I guess she's probably good. Maybe the author likes that I could talk about contemplate the situation or whatever, or maybe be like in a movie when like you're annoyed by a character. I guess she intended for Mama's personality to be like that, but she's kind of flip-floppy because like she told him to call the movie people to cancel it. He comes in with an opportunity. Now they're attacking him. Now she wants, oh, have your son right there, and then she's kind of like dissing him too. Oh, Willie Harris taught you. Teach him like Willie Harris taught you, because Willie Harris taught he. I mean, you guys already read it, but it's funny. She's like throwing it back in his face. That is something a woman would do, but it's kind of annoying. It's kind of like, then why do you want his son to be right there? Walter at last crosses to Lindner, who was reviewing the contract. Wow, Mr. Lindner. Benita turns away. We called you. There was a profound, simple, groping quality in his speech. Because, well, me and my family, he looks around and shifts from one foot to the other. Well, we are very plain people, Lindner. Yes, Walter. I mean, I have worked as a chauffeur most of my life, and my wife here, she does domestic work in people's kitchens. So does my mother, I mean. We are plain people. Lindner, yes, Mr. Younger. Walter, really like a small boy looking down at his shoes and then up at the man. And, well, my father, well, he was a laborer most of his life. Lindner, absolutely confused. Yes, I understand. He turns back to the contract. Walter, a beat, maybe a pause, staring at him. And my father, with sudden intensity, my father almost beat a man to death. Once because this man called him a bad name or something, you know what I mean? Lindner, looking up, frozen. No, I'm afraid I don't. Walter, a beat. The tension hangs, and then Walter steps back from it. Yeah, well, what I mean is that we come from people who had a lot of pride. I mean, we are very proud people. And that's my sister over there, and she's going to be a doctor, and we are very proud. Lindner, well, I'm sure that is very nice, but, Walter, what I'm telling you is that we called you over here to tell you that we are very proud. And that this, signaling to Travis, Travis, come here. Travis crosses and Walter draws him before his face. Or Walter draws Travis to him before him facing the man. This is my son, and he makes the 6th generation our family in this country. And we have all thought about your offer. Lindner, well, good. Walter, we have decided to move into our house because my father, he earned it for us brick by brick. Mama has her eyes closed and is rocking back and forth as though she were in church with her head nodding the amen, yes. We don't want to make no trouble for nobody or fight no causes, and we will try to be good neighbors, and that's all we got to say about that. He looks the man absolutely in the eyes. We don't want your money. He turns and walks away. Lindner, looking around at all of them. I take it then that you have decided to occupy. Benita, is what the man said. Lindner to Mama in her reverie. Then I would like to appeal to you, Mrs. Younger. You are older and wiser and understand things better than, or you understand things better, I am sure. Mama, well, I'm afraid, Mr. Lindner, you don't understand. My son said we was going to move and there ain't nothing left for me to say. Briskly, you know how these young folks is nowadays, mister. Can't do a thing with them. As he opens his mouth, she rises. Goodbye. Lindner, folding up his materials. Well, if you are that final about it, there's nothing left for me to say. He finishes, almost ignored by the family, who are concentrating on Walter Lee. At the door, Lindner halts and looks around. I sure hope you people know what you're getting into. He shakes his head and exits. This is such a beautiful story because there was no other way really around it for black people to integrate into white people's communities. They had to. And I think you're just having faith that simultaneously, that's why they have this committee. They have other guys, other spokespeople. This is like colonizing, you know what I mean? Just like in a more smaller scale, like one tribe at a time, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how small the tribes got, where they're like, you know, we're not taught community, really. When there's a community, there's a group with a single mind frame, you know? So Ruth, looking around and coming to life. Well, for God's sake, if the movie men are here, let's get the hell out of here. Mama into action. Ain't it the truth? Look at all this here mess, Ruth. Put Travis' good jacket on him. Walter Lee, fix your tie and take your shirt in. You look like somebody's hoodlum. Lord have mercy, where's my plant? She flies to get it amid the general bustling of the family, who are deliberately trying to ignore the nobility of the past moment. You all start on down, Travis child. Don't go empty-handed. Ruth, where did I put that box with my skillets in it? I want to be in charge of it myself. I'm going to make us the biggest dinner we ever ate tonight. Benita, what's the matter with them stockings? Pull them things up, girl. The family starts to file out as two movie men appear and begin to carry out the heavier pieces of furniture, bumping into the family as they move about. Benita, Mama, Asaga asked me to marry him today and go to Africa. Mama, in the middle of her getting ready activity. He did. You ain't old enough to marry nobody. Seeing the movie man lifting one of her chairs precariously. Darling, that ain't no bale of cotton. Please handle this so we can sit it in again. I had that chair 25 years. The movers sighed with exasperation and go on with their work. She's talking to the movers. Benita, girlishly and unreasonably trying to pursue the conversation. To go to Africa, Mama. Be a doctor in Africa. Mama, distracted. Yes, baby. Walter. Africa? What do you want you to go to Africa for? Benita, to practice there. Walter. Girl, if you don't get all them silly ideas out your head, you better marry yourself a man with some loot. Benita, angrily, precisely as in the first scene of the play. What have you got to do with who I marry? Walter, plenty. Now I think George Murchison. Benita, George Murchison? I wouldn't marry him if he was Adam and I was Eve. Walter and Benita go out yelling at each other vigorously, and the anger is loud and real till their voices diminish. Ruth stands at the door and turns to Mama and smiles knowingly. Mama, fixing her hat at last. Yeah, they something all right, my children. Ruth. Yeah, there's something. Let's go, Lena. It's a trip how Mama respects, Lena and Mama have like a different type of respect for each other because they play the same role, you know. She loves Walter, and I'm pretty sure Lena has to approve of Ruth, and Ruth knows that. And I'm sure Ruth sits there and like sees a lot of similarities in her future, really. Mama, stalling, starting to look around at the house. Yes, I'm coming, Ruth. Ruth, yes? Mama, quietly, woman to woman. He finally come into his manhood today, didn't he? Kind of like a rainbow after the rain. Ruth, biting her lip, lest her own pride explode in front of Mama. Yes, Lena. Walter's voice calls for them raucously. Walter, off stage. Y'all, come on. These people charge us by the hour, you know. Mama, waving Ruth out vaguely. All right, honey, go on down. I'll be down directly. Ruth hesitates, then exits. Mama stands at last alone in the living room, her plant on the table before her as the light starts to come down. She looks around at all the walls and ceilings, and suddenly, despite herself, while the children call below, a great heaving thing rises in her, and she puts her fist to her mouth to stifle it, takes a final desperate look, pulls her coat about her, pats her hat, and goes out. The lights dim down. The door opens as she comes back in, grabs her plant, and goes out for the last time. Curtain. She should have cried. She should have cried for the husband. She should have just cried for him. But that's what it was saying. She was sad. So I guess it was like not being afraid to move in the white people's community. And I wonder why they wanted to move into that community. I wonder if maybe they would have took a different approach, like start their own community. I mean, maybe those were the only houses established at that time. Really don't know what year this was. It doesn't really say. I love this play, though. They weren't gonna let the money break them up, you know? I mean, but it's not like they were gonna cheat the white man, but they were just gonna allow somebody else to make a decision for them. They were gonna allow the fear and the uncertainty. But things were changing maybe, and I mean, like I said, those people who had to die by the Ku Klux Klan, the Indians who were savagely taken from their lands, and the Africans, the natives of lands that were disrupted and turned over, kicked out or taken to, and enslaved, which still goes on today for the advancement of the world, I guess. cheap labor is slave labor. What I'm saying is, this book is amazing, man. I found this in the trash. Anyway, y'all, it's the last scene. It's about 40 minutes. Peace, y'all.